Shove it, man!
Hello, Shove It Squad. It's that time where once again the idiot, that is me, tries to find some good wrestling in 2022. Wait, hold on a minute. You've got a camera. The Hawk's got a camera. The Hawk's on camera. Yeah, I'm on camera. It's not a big deal, is it? Shut up or I'll smack you one. And let me tell you, it's been a real ball ache trying to find some good wrestling in 2022. So I keep a track of all the shows that we've watched so far. And if a show sucks too badly, I just flat out don't watch it the next week. It's gone. It's in the shove it zone. There's no need to moan. These are my experiences as a brand new viewer to the show. I do not have a bias towards any company. I don't care about any of them. I just want something to impress me. On a quick side note, as the video goes along, you might be thinking, hey, where's TNA gone this week? Well, there's a damn fine reason for that. I don't want to watch Impact this week. I've been checking out their website, and I can flat out tell you, there is nothing, I repeat, nothing I want to watch on that show. It's not aimed at me. I am not the target audience, so screw them. But we all know I'm going to be having to watch a full show of Impact really soon. And some of you know where that is, some of you don't. And if you don't know, consider yourself lucky. So we've got 5 shows to watch this week. You hear that? 5. If you're from Shep to Mallet, you hold one hand and a finger up and you get the right answer. If there's something in particular that you want me to check out, make sure you drop it down in the comments. I'm pretty open to everything. I'm trying to get into all sorts of wrestling in these videos. This is the 5th episode of the Idiot series. 4 of them have been deleted from YouTube, so watch it while you can. So I'd say overall, since starting this series, I've liked MLW the most. I can't really tell you why, I just find the characters the most interesting out of all the shows. Plus, Alex Kane is now totally over with me. Sometimes I walk through Morrison's going, boo-my-yay, boo-my-yay, boo-my-yay. And then someone turns around, hits me with a brick and throws me in a mental asylum. And I deserve it. And so do you, Alex Kane. If you want to check out MLW, it's really easy. Just head over to their YouTube channel. It's only 1 hour. And come on, you ain't got anything better to do, have you?
Show starts with Jacob Fatu swearing and screaming at the camera. He's tired of people trying to make a name off his.
He threatens Bestia 666.
The opening contest is Holodead with the Idiot Abyss and Gangrel. They are the Brood. We quickly cut away to Caesar Duran, who's talking to a strange looking man in the corridor. No idea what any of them said. They were practically whispering. We come back to the ring to see that Holodead is taking on Chief Tormentor. The undefeated Holodead has an outfit like Giant Gonzalez from WrestleMania. Holodead loses her focus and seems more interested in the Abyss guy, so Tormentor is able to hit her with a suicide dive. She tries another, but Holodead kicks her to stop her in her tracks. She hits a suplex and licks her lips with happiness. Now she puts on a circular stretch. She treats her opponent like a rocking horse. She can't make a tap though. Tormentor actually manages a small comeback to head scissors, but moments later Holodead connects with the cab driver slam, the cab driver slam. It's over. Actually, it's not. Tormentor's still fighting back even after the most devastating finisher in the wrestling business, and she hits double diving knees. She tries to follow it with a second-rate moonsault but misses it, and Holodead wins with a sit-out implant buster. She's now interviewed and she tells MLW to keep feeding her wrestlers. She doesn't care even if they're from Canada, eh? Crowds seem to like her and it's an interesting gimmick. Now in a pre-taped segment, the Von Erich boys are hanging out in their back garden whipping the air. Kevin Von Erich tells them to calm down and says they'll get a chance to fight 5150 soon. The Von Erich boys agree and they stamp on their own rotten bench and scream woo. What a waste, do you know how expensive garden furniture is right now? The Comrades team are also screaming that Hammerstone has just arrived. Yes, that's what I'm talking about, treat him like a star, it should be a big deal when someone shows up. He celebrates and hugs the Von Erichs and they all agree to hit the gym later. Another match now for the Caribbean Championship, I think it's a 4-way. The challenger is Octagon Jr. Also in this match is El Dragone. We also have Aho Park, who has a little kid with him. I was worried it was Microman for a moment. And randomly, the champion, who's also competing in this match, is King Murtuez. Seems like a size mismatch, this could be fun. Despite that, the crowd are behind Murtuez. He beats up all 3 and hits a Total World Backbreaker. He then makes the wise decision to clear the ring, so he's left alone with Park. Park seems to be going on okay until he's caught with an overhead belly to belly. Murtuez follows it up with a spinning rock bottom, but the pin is broken up and the other luchadors are back. El Dragone manages to hit a flying head scissors which sends Murtuez out the ring. This one's contested under lucha rules, so Murtuez ain't legal now. Big corkscrew dive into an arm drag from Octagon and a springboard kick. He also hits a hesitation springboard dropkick. Alright, I'm not sure he was meant to hesitate, let's be honest. Another head scissors now, but Park comes back in and simply slaps him in the face to stop his offense. Park is winning now and he hits a big crossbody and then he gets out of a fireman's carry of a head scissors. He shouldn't have bothered though because Murtuez is legal again. Straight away he hits a nice power slam for a 2 count. Nice switch off now between Dragone and Murtuez, which El Dragone gets the better of. He lands a springboard elbow, but Octagon Jr. flies out of nowhere to break up the pin. New move from Octagon now, no idea what to call it, but I'm enjoying it. Octagon connects with the 450, but he's booted in the head during the pin. We come back from an advert break with Park hitting a Canadian Destroyer. The match has broken down a bit though, and Mortuez hits a DDT of authority. He also takes out Park with a spear. King Mortuez now starts running and giving clotheslines to all three. He walks into an Octagon superkick and a backstabber. They aren't done though, and we get an RKO and a springboard splash from Octagon. It's safe to say that Mortuez should be down for a bit now. Unfortunately, this match does have a really stupid spot in, and I wish they wouldn't do this kind of thing. One of them catches a kick and keeps holding the leg, and Octagon kicks Dragon, but he keeps holding the leg. It's so stupid. Why would he keep holding it? Up next, what looks like a broken neck, an electric chair into a diving crossbody. Dragone is now dead. Crowd brawling now, can't believe Mortuez is back up. Park dives on him from the ring. Octagon gets his opponent on the top rope, and damn, now that's a sack of shit. Well, he didn't really throw him though, did he? Octagon Jr. has won the match, and that win makes perfect sense to me. Jr. looked like the real star of this match. The commentary team screamed, "This is our next big lucha star." Pre-take segment now, 5150 in a stable. They say they're having a bunkhouse brawl next week. Are they really? 5150 promised to send Von Erichs back to the stable. I miss Boogie Woogie, that's 2 shows he's been missing from now. Has he been released from MLW or something? Calvin Tankman interview now, talking about how he used to watch WCW Nitro growing up. He said he wanted to be like Scott Steiner and tell people to kiss his biceps. Well, what went wrong, Calvin? He talks about growing up poor, and then he quotes Nipsey Hussle. There's a name I've not heard in a while. The main event will be an Apocalypto match. It's Bestia 666, the son of Damien, and he faces Jacob Fatu. Enjoying this show much more than the last time, but I've got no idea what an Apocalypto match is. Bestia starts with diving head scissors from the corner. Fatu quickly shuts him down with a throat thrust. Bestia tries to bail, which doesn't help because he's quickly hit with a suicide dive. Fatu screams "get the fuck out of the way" at some ringside workers. It's so dark I've no idea what's happening. They come out of the darkness and there's a table set up now. There's a bunch of fat guys swearing in Fatu's face at ringside, so he swears back at them. He's in a foul mood. Both guys smack the ring post before we come back to the ring. Fatu hits the big crossbody for a 2 count. Now he asks the crowd who's the motherfucking man. So it's a Devon Dudley gimmick then, is it? Bestia can't seem to do anything to Fatu and he gets him with a nice power slam. Fatu tries another power slam and this time Bestia is able to counter it with a DDT. Bestia tries a cutter, but Fatu handstands out of it and hits a super kick. Fatu tries his Samoan drop, which Bestia turns into a crucifix bomb. Now the match finally turns hardcore as Fatu is sent into a chair in the corner. Bestia also hits a bad looking muscle buster for a 2 count. As that didn't work, he gets back to using the steel chair. Fatu keeps getting up though, and now he manages to connect the Samoan drop, and I was completely okay with this for 2 reasons. Now Bestia hits the Canadian Destroyer to 0 crowd reaction. Twice in one show, huh? People used to go nuts for that one. Bestia now has a wooden board which he sets up across 2 chairs. I guess they ran out of tables to use. It proves to be a bad decision because seconds later Fatu gives him a Samoan drop through the table. Jacob Fatu wins with the moonsault. It was fine, but I'm not sure why they hyped this match up so much. They said how dangerous it would be. It turned out to be a pretty tame hardcore match. MLW could learn something from Dixie Carter. Don't hype something up if it's not going to deliver. We end the show with Cesar Duran doing a press conference. He makes a world title match between Holiday and Hammerstone. Hammerstone interrupts the conference screaming at him. The girl who's with Holiday throws water in his face and he flips. He accidentally punches out Cesar Duran and it ends. These shows are too short. Do they ever run pay-per-views or anything? Because I'm not quite getting my fill of MLW. To the live audience, it feels like a completely better show, because MLW take 2 or 3 shows at once, but that isn't enough for the audience at home. I guess it's a good thing if I want to see more of them though. They really need to find a better way to film it that satisfies the audience at home, because they don't get to see their favourite wrestler wrestle for a few weeks, and continuity is the key to building a new fan base. No Alex Kane this week either, which is a shame. I've been walking around Bridgewater Bay this month chanting "Boo my yay." If any of you folks are from there, make sure to throw a brick at me. And props to Octagon Jr. I really enjoyed that lucha match, and he feels like he has the moves and charisma to really stand out this year. I'm giving it a 6.5 because there was just wrestling and no time for anything funny.
So last time, believe it or not, I quite enjoyed NXT 2.0. I know some of you are really hating the new product, but personally I found it quite entertaining. Some of the characters were so wacky. But the thing is, this is going to get the video demonetized. You know how I said that there's only 1 video left from the Idiot series on YouTube? Well, you know why that is. Every time it's been NXT, Raw, whatever, WWE are being so tough on copyright lately. I just want to fucking smack them. Smack them with a brick right in the dick. But it's fine, whatever, I'll just do it anyway. And I know someone's going to point out in the comments, I know that several wrestlers have been released from NXT 2.0 recently. So we'll have to see if that changes the product at all.
We're off to a good start though because Carmelo Hayes is here. He's got his life partner with him who's blatantly in love with him. They walk out dissing a bunch of people as they walk. They keep finishing each other's sentences like a young couple. I truly believe this other guy is devaluing Carmelo Hayes and making him look stupid. He'd be better on his own. Anyway, this is a tag match and they'll be facing Solo. Don't look at his ass, Sakura. Only a few people stood out. There's no need to shout. This wasn't a terrible show, it was just dull. It's a 5 out of 10.
So for our next wrestling fix, we've got to head over to a Patreon request from Anthony Cook. If you want to make the Hawk talk, sign up today. And of course, wrong video. Anthony has asked me to take another look at Booker T's reality of wrestling. And let me tell you, something really weird happens on this show. So stay tuned, it is worth watching, I promise you. If you want to check out Reality of Wrestling, just head over to their YouTube channel. They upload the full shows on there. Let's get into this Sherry Martel tournament special.
So if you don't like women's wrestling, this won't be the show for you. The opener's a triple threat between Hyan, Shiva, who looks like she's wearing an outfit from the Saiyan saga of Dragon Ball Z, and Rachel Rose. I swear I don't do this deliberately, but somehow Rachel's the only person who's featured in all 4 of her episodes so far. Promise you I'm not stalking her. Well, if I was, I could certainly do worse. Shiva is apparently the powerhouse of the 3, but she doesn't even look that big. She throws Rachel out the ring. She ends up interfering from the outside for trip up. She spins her opponent around and kicks her in the face. She's back in the ring now and hits a super kick. Rose gets a bit cheeky now and she chokes Hyan in the corner with her boot. The match slows down for a bit as Rachel controls the pace. She hits knees and drop kicks in the corner on Hyan. It should be game over after a high knee, but we get a kick out. Hyan gets tired of losing to Rachel Rose, so she dives out the ring with a suicide dive on the other girl. Hyan then manages to land some offense and she gets back in the ring. The leg drop only gets her a 2. She manages to get an octopus stretch submission on, which is broken up by Shiva. The 2 others fight for a while, but they've forgotten about Rachel Rose, who rushes the ring with a spear. She hits a second one on Shiva, but it doesn't look good. Someone hit her with a brick. She nails the off with her head, which is her finisher, but the pin is broken up. Surprisingly, Hyan wins the match by beating Rachel Rose, dropping her on her face. She advances to the final. We get an advert now for the WCW Power Plant. Sorry, I meant the Reality of Wrestling Training Center. They can apparently teach you how to cut a promo and lift a weight. Maybe they should train the AEW roster. Just kidding, guys, I'm not fucking with you, I don't want to get cancelled. Another triple threat now. The first 2 girls are kind of generic, but the third one caught my hawk-eye. It's Gigi Ray, who has a trunk of dollars, a hat, and a hoop earring. You know what they say up in North Rochdale? The bigger the hoop, the bigger the whore. And if she's a rap bitch, why is she such a flat bitch? I'm just messing, she's more interested than the others. She has a pretty nice way of delivering her moves too. She puts a bit of authority on everything she does. She seems to be dominating the early going. She does a head scissors. Weird spot now in this one as 2 ladies are fighting and waiting for Gigi to dive on them. But she doesn't dive and she jumps down and hits a drop kick instead. Did she bottle it? This Gigi really needs to chav up her personality. She's got the image but not the attitude. She does have a standing Spanish fly though. She seems like she's going to win this one. She's got all the big spots in the match. I say that, but the witch lady in red starts winning with power slams and suplexes. This match is probably better than the last one. The ending sucks though. It's just a big pile of bodies and somehow Promise Braxton wins it. I don't really care to watch the final because these were 2 of the more boring ladies. But before that can happen, Booker T is in a locker room talking to himself. He says that she is the chosen one. Great, a slapnuts gimmick in 2022. I have no idea if he's talking to himself or somebody else. Well, I can't hear another voice, so he must be talking to himself. He says that the tournament is not for me, it's all for you. Then it's revealed he's talking to a picture of Sherry Martel on his phone screen. That's so weird, so is he being controlled by a ghost of Sherry Martel? Or has he just completely lost it and thinks the phone image is real? Booker's at ringside for the final. I'm not going to be covering this one in full. Hyan and Promise can shove it. Shout out this one move though from Promise. She basically delivers a DDT off the ropes, but by using her legs. Not seen that done before. The main talking point of this match is that Booker T turns heel. Yes, you heard that right, the ghost told him to do it. He sweeps out Hyan's leg and Promise is the winner of the Sherry Martel tournament. The crowd chant bullshit. Promise Braxton is the chosen one. It's not over though because Charmel is here. Charmel says that the match is going to restart. She's unhappy with the bookman's actions. Now can you dig that, sucker? Hyan drops her on her face soon after and now we do have an official winner. She's given a trophy, a crown and a punch to the gut. That's it then. A hard one to judge as it's not their typical show. It was all women's stuff. I definitely have to say I preferred their show last time I watched it, but the wrestling itself was better in this show. It was just less entertaining to me. There was no wacky storylines going on. It was all a bit samey. I'm going to give this one an ungraded because it's not really a fair reflection of their typical TV show. I'll check them out again because I just need to find out what the deal was with Booker T and the ghost of Sherry Martel.
So the next show to check out is Game Changer Wrestling. From what I can tell, they run a similar format to what TNA did back in the day of weekly pay-per-views. And if you want to check them out, you can check them out on Fight TV. Now, this wrestling promotion is for those who want the hardcore fix. It gets compared to ECW a lot, and this is GCW Life, which aired earlier this month.
This video is getting long now, and I really don't want to watch any more high flying, so instead, I'm going to highlight a few matches which were completely different to anything else in this video so far. The presentation is probably the worst out of any of today's shows, even though they have a bigger buzz than some of the other shows. It's a match for the tag titles that I watched first in a death match. It's Akira, who looks like Eddie Slapnut Edwards with a red mohawk, and he teams with John Wayne Murdoch. He has a hillbilly gimmick. Wonder if he's any relation to the Dupps. The champions are Effie and Ali Catch, and they are pussies. I'm not even making that up, that's their actual team name. From what I understand, this Effie has a divisive gimmick, but many of the shows seem to be built around him. The crowd chant, "I want pussy." This sure is a different environment right here. Now they're chanting, "Pussy's gonna kill you." It certainly will if this new monkeypox thing is anything to go by. Ali Catch beats up her male opponent and does Scott Hall spooky fingers. She completely destroys him with ass bombs and he has to bail and bring his partner in. Effie's also in now, so let's see why this gimmick is so controversial. Well, he's got fishnets on and he seems to be trying to kiss his opponents. For some reason, the hillbilly slaps his own partner and tells him none of that shit. I'm so confused, but I guess not in the same way as Akira is. Do him and Effie have a history of kissing? What am I even saying? If this keeps up, the Hawk's gonna have to start writing erotic romance novels. One fine day, a young man called Akira decided he loved a blonde man called Effie. Unfortunately, Effie only dated men who used a blonde just for men. Akira really wanted to impress him though, and he dyed his hair red because he thought it would make Effie take notice of him. There was a lot of chemistry and fireworks going on between the two, but unfortunately an evil hillbilly didn't want them to be together. Alright, enough of that, somebody smack me one. Anyway, Effie ends up kissing both of them. Akira counters the kiss by biting his tongue and then throwing him overhead with a suplex. He also hits a moonsault to the outside. Akira just keeps stringing moves together, but they stop when Ali starts hitting him with a chair. The hillbilly hits her with a piece of light tube. This is the sort of thing we haven't seen so far, a man smashing a woman with a weapon. He smashes with it and grinds it into her head. I can't really show the footage of this happening because YouTube won't let this sort of thing fly because, well, not really sure if I'm down with a man doing this to a woman and YouTube probably isn't either. I just don't feel comfortable watching this. It's just like some kind of fucked up torture porn. I was brought up to respect women. You're supposed to fuck them, not fuck them up. It's not like it's one or two weapon shots. He's brutalising her and carving her open. Who would have known the Hawk had a conscience? Anyway, he also hits her in the vagina with a light tube. Effie eventually saves her by hitting a Rough Rider on the hillbilly. Seconds later, hits a Death Alley driver through a table. Ali hits a top rope superplex, which everybody knows sells. A bit later, Effie and the hillbilly both get sent through a table by accident. Akira and Ali start throwing each other with suplexes into the glass. Nothing seems to hurt these guys. The match comes to an end moments later as Ali does a pile driver off the ropes followed by a normal pile driver. So Ali wins, so I guess it's okay that she was carved open. Look, I'm just not used to seeing this sort of thing. It had some cool moves in the match, but it's just not my preference to see a girl being treated that way. I can deal with one or two weapon shots, but just not prolonged like that. From one death match to another. This time it's Jimmy Lloyd who seems to be used to these sort of matches based on the way his skin looks. And he faces Shane Mercer, who isn't even allowed to do his entrance because he gets a light tube smashed to the back. Shane Mercer hits a bunch of frozen suplexes. He also hits a nice reverse Rana, spiking Scarborough on his head. Now they use a weed trimmer as a weapon. Mercer doesn't really seem like he belongs in this environment. He hits some nice throws. Now Mercer has a mace from medieval times. He can't connect with any shots though. Damn, Jimmy Lloyd hits a driver through a barbed wire board. Now he starts using light tubes, but Mercer smashes one with his mace. Lloyd starts screaming and belching and he springs off the ropes into a Canadian destroyer. That's just the two. A barbed wire board is now set up across the two chairs. Mercer attempts to throw Lloyd with the Scott Hall special, the sack of shit. They completely missed the board, but he still makes the cover and that's the three. I actually enjoyed Mercer's work, good shit. Some pale sweaty men fight for a bit now, so I naturally skipped that one. I was also going to skip the next match, but, you know, there's something seriously wrong with these SAT guys. They have zero personality. Are they twins? The SATs still exist, but they're now fat, and they have a bunch of convoluted double team spots for us. One of them does a crotch chop, which is genuinely the most personality I've seen from these guys. The SATs win the match with a double Spanish fly, but the problem is all four guys can't really fit up there on the top rope, especially with the extra girth of the SATs in 2022. In the next match, Joey Janela powerbombs Masha Slamovich through a door and hits her with a cradle pile driver. It doesn't really matter because Slamovich isn't really a lady, she's more like Raven from 1998 with red hair. Janela beats her with a super kick. He then has a mic and he talks about leaving AEW. He says All Elite Wrestling had no idea what they were doing with him when they signed him. He moans that they treated him well at first but then stopped using him. He talks about not being in it for the money. What a geek. The main event features a morbidly obese bald man with a ginger beard and a flabby man with greasy hair. They both end up with cheese graces on their head and then they bash into each other like a couple of reindeers. Or a couple of morons, you decide which. They're quite creative with the weapons that they use though. The fat man wins with a Death Valley driver. That was definitely an eye-opening experience. I had no idea this sort of wrestling still took place in 2022. Go check them out if you enjoy hardcore wrestling. I seriously doubt anyone's doing this better. It is admittedly a bunch of backyard wrestlers, but there doesn't seem to be much in the way of character work or storylines either. So in that respect, it's not like ECW. Believe it or not, I would actually want to check them out again though, but I'd want to see a show with some wrestlers on the card that I'm more familiar with. Because I know they've had a lot of guys lately from bigger companies. I probably just watched the wrong show here. But you all know how this thing works. No favouritism, and I just watched the most recent show. Giving GCW a 6 out of 10, and here's why. I respect that they're doing something completely different, on a low budget from the looks of it too, and I know they have a passionate audience. All the wrestlers worked really hard, and nothing I saw was boring.
Now, all that being said, I don't want to watch a man chopping up a woman like some sort of sick fetish porn. I'm totally cool with someone like Slapnuts turning around and smacking them with a guitar, but this guy was properly grinding and cutting her up. It's messed up. I'm sorry, but if you enjoy that, you must have mummy issues. So let's move on, because I'm a little bit pissed after watching that. All we've got left to do is watch AEW Rampage. We always save AEW till last on this channel, and there's a good reason for that. I've never watched Rampage before. I've watched the main AEW show, and I've watched Dark Elevation, so this is a new one for me. People kept asking me in the YouTube comments last time. The Shove It Squad has spoken. And of course, on AEW Rampage, we have Taz and Chris Jericho commentary. So we might get some Taz factoids of the week. I'm sure it'll be entertaining. And also, AEW is, of course, what culture's favourite show? You know, twat culture. I wouldn't normally draw any attention to these fucking geeks. One of them said, I will punch you in the neck, Marky D. Yeah, like you're gonna punch me, you little geek. Talk about smack me in the neck. Yeah, I'll smack your mother, you ugly prick. I'll smack you so hard that your acne will explode all over your face and hair, and the grease will make you look like a Wes Briscoe trim.
We go straight into a trios match, and let me tell you, this thing is genuinely really good. It's Pentagon, Phoenix and Pac taking on the Butcher, the Blade and Mark Quinton. None of them get an entrance though. The story here is that Phoenix is rusty because he's returning from an injury. Pentagon with the first big move of the match, a dropkick to the nutsack of the Blade. The Butcher beats up Pac on the outside to turn the match and drops Pac on the ring apron. The Butcher and the Blade are apparently the sports entertainers of the week. Not in that beanie, Braxton. Back in the ring, Pac is winning. He hits a dropkick to the knee and a dropkick from the top. Pac allows the Butcher to tag out and Mark Quinn thinks he has a chance, but he doesn't really. Quinn and Phoenix actually have a really nice trade-off. He kicks Phoenix all over the place. He's pretty impressive in this match despite that haircut. He ends up distracted taunting the crowd, so Phoenix drops him on his face. Phoenix hits a springboard tornado into an arm drag followed by a foot stomp. Phoenix tries to be Spider-Man, but the bad team cheat and he's drop kicked out of the ring. The rest of the match is really Phoenix getting isolated. He's taken out of a side slam leg drop combination. Mark Quinn hits him with a 450, but this is 2022 and people can now kick out of that move apparently. The Blade helps Quinn run up the top rope and he hits a big dive to the outside, really nice. Phoenix manages to tag out after doing the Spider-Man on the ropes into a super kick. A small scruffy ginger man is shown taking notes in the crowd. He looks like such a dork. Pentagon beats 3 guys up on his own. He leaves all 3 of his opponents on the mat and then he strangely decides to tag out. Pac's in now and he gets a 2 on a deadlift snap German. The match comes to an end moments later as Pac hits a released German suplex. Penta and Phoenix hit a package piledriver dropkick combination. They immediately dive out the ring to take out the Butcher and the Blade, and Pac finishes it off with his Black Arrow dive. Really good opener, and I think this is the sort of match that has a place on any card, as long as it's the only match like this on the card. It makes it even more special because I actually enjoyed this. The arena goes dark now and the House of Black are here. Then it goes dark again and the House disappear. Well, at least they live up to their name. Up next is the chairman, Sean Spears, who comes out to no reaction from the crowd. He's taking on a man called Bear Boulder. He looks like Kevin Owens with a ginger beard. Spears doesn't seem to be taking this one seriously. Boulder picks him up, but he can't slam him. Boulder then picks him up again, and this time he's able to hit a power slam. Spears attempts 10 punches in the corner, but Boulder starts choking him. He carries Spears away, but he doesn't slam him, and he probably should have. Instead, he hits a clothesline in the corner. He tries his own 10 punches in the corner. Spears is able to counter this and he gets the big man on his shoulders and hits a big Death Valley driver. That's the 3. A short match which was a nothing match. Boulder could be a good jobber to the stars, but instead he's a jobber to a nobody. Spears hits him with a chair to send a message to Wardlow, who he's feuding with. Now we have a backstage interview of a big-eared blonde, Tony Nese and a grey man. They have nothing interesting to say. The girl's taller than the guys. We have a match now. It's Rio who has a baby gimmick. Why do so many wrestlers in 2022 have a baby gimmick? She takes on Ruby Soho, and this is a match in the Owen Hart tournament. Ruby really likes her music, but Rio hates it. Zero sex appeal was found in this segment. Despite that, I found myself quite liking Rio. She has some pretty smooth transitions and moves. She just needs a better gimmick. She does a nice rolling pin into a double foot stomp. Rio also manages to block a Ruby Soho kick and transitions into a nice bow and arrow. Ruby makes the ropes though. I thought this match was going to be all about Ruby Soho, but she's getting absolutely battered in this one with all sorts of suplexes. Ruby seems to be invincible in this match, nothing's keeping her down. She also manages to kick out of a crucifix driver. Ruby doesn't score much in this match, but she does deliver a vicious backdrop suplex. The baby kicks out at 2, but Ruby kicks her straight away for another 2. Ruby Soho wins the match with the crossroads. These two girls can honestly wrestle as well as the men. It was a really smooth match. They're just kind of boring geeky characters to me. I get why people do like this though. In the back, Billy Gunn is with his 4 sons. Apparently they're a new faction. He's trying to help them come up with taunts and catchphrases to get them over. His sons keep trying to steal DX's stuff. The Acclaim guys settle on a scissors hand taunt and the catchphrase of "Yo, listen." Billy Gunn says this is excellent. His kids sound like they've been dropped on their heads. What the hell is wrong with them? Times sure have changed. So many uncool people on wrestling shows. But I think they're supposed to be a joke. Up next, it's an interview segment with the ladies. It's Jade Cargill, the champion. Hey look, it's Kira Hogan. I wonder what happened to her. They are called the Baddies. Not much thought went into that one, did it? Jade tells Tony Schiavone to cut the shit. I've heard a lot of good stuff about this girl, and so far she's living up to it. She carries herself like a star and she's pretty entertaining on the mic. A match is made for next week in a tournament. This segment got Jade some brief mic time, but overall it was a pointless segment which wasn't really needed. I wanted to hear her talk some more trash, but the rest of it was dull. Now it's a three-way interview conducted by Sexual Chocolate Mark Henry. Scorpio Sky will be defending his title against his former partner Kazarian. Kaz has aged remarkably well, don't you think? Dan Lambert keeps interrupting Scorpio and he says he doesn't want the match to happen. Scorpio Sky asks his 2 goons to take the night off so it could be a fair one-on-one match. Mark Henry says it's time for the main event, and the crowd chant along with him, so I guess this line seems to be over. The main event for the TNT Championship seems to have been given a lot of time here. Frankie Kazarian seems to have a pretty decent record in AEW. The story here is that Scorpio Sky can't be trusted and he's probably lying about his goons staying out of this match. These 2 former tag partners clearly know each other very well. They're having a really good trade-off until they smash into each other head first. After some more reversals, Scorpio Sky wipes out Kazarian with a big plancha to the outside. Kaz fights back with a nice leg drop across the ropes and he springboards into the ring into a roll-up. The match continues with Kaz reversing a TKO into a roll-up. He also hits a springboard leg drop, but he still can't get the free. Nicest move of the match happens when Sky is on the ring apron. Kaz pulls him into the ring straight into a cutter. That's just another 2. Kaz is determined to lock on the crossface chicken win, which I believe is supposed to be his finisher. Dan Lambert rushes out and takes the referee with Sky in the submission. Ethan Page hits Kaz with the title belt. Sky makes the cover, but Kaz surprisingly manages to kick out the pin. Moments later, Scorpio Sky wins anyway with the TKO. So the deal here is that Sky wasn't aware of the help he received. Or was he? Ethan Page tells Sky what he just did, and then Sky decks Kaz with the title belt, revealing that Sky was aware of the plan the whole time. They all run away from Sammy Guevara with a chair and the show ends. Really nice wrestling quality on this show, that cannot be doubted. There isn't really much else going on though, but the wrestling is all highly skilled. I still don't understand how AEW is classed as much watched telly though. I've seen 4 or 5 different episodes of their product to this point and I always think it's fine at best. And that's it, it's fine. At least they're consistent with being fine, but they ain't pushing any boundaries. People quote Tony Khan a lot and say he's not interested in attracting a new audience. I'm not sure that quote's been taken out of context or if he even said it, but it certainly seems like they're happy delivering great technical matches and not a lot else. AEW Rampage gets a 6 out of 10 from me.
So that's it for another month on the Idiot series. I only can do this once a month because it takes a shitload of time to make these videos. So on reflection, I'd say AEW and MLW probably won this week. I'd say MLW just about shaded it, only because I feel like the character work was better on that show. And Octagon Jr. blew me away, to be fair. But no, AEW did really well as well. There were 2 really great matches on that show. I can't really hit either of them with a brick. But don't get me wrong, nothing I watched this week blew me away. Are you surprised? Probably not. You're probably like me and you're probably like, when will wrestling get good again? Probably never. That's a lot of probablys. But one thing that isn't probable is that Booker T has completely lost the plot. And I'm worried for him. So we should all head over to Twitter and check out that he's all okay. There's no need to spray. And if you got some kind of weird kick out of seeing Booker T talk to the ghost of Sherry Martel, I'll beat you until you yell.